The Tale of a Country Girl by Louise Davis of Drummoyne, 2047. Narrated by Janine Penfold. Being the last of 4 daughters of a Scottish-born Victorian policeman and a Gippsland farmer's daughter, my life was interesting from the get-go. Dad was a police constable in Melbourne, Victoria, and met Mum when the Victorian Police Band came to Bairnsdale in 1931. Their eyes met over his large bass trombone and the sparks flew. Dad, Robert Scott Stewart, made many trips on the train to Bairnsdale over the following months, with his bicycle in the guard's compartment. He rode his bike 12 kilometres from the train station to the Lynn's large dairy farm, Hazel Dell at Mount Taylor. Mum was the third daughter of 4 girls and 4 boys, children of Albert Lynd, later Sir Albert, knighted in the last King George VI honours before his death in 1952. And Florence, who was quite a formidable presence whenever we visited during school holidays. They did not approve of Dad's interest in their darling daughter Heather. Being a policeman's wife was considered too lowly a position in life. Their love prevailed, and they took the train to Melbourne from Bairnsdale and were married at the South Yarra Presbyterian Church by a clergyman Dad knew. After the wedding, they caught the train to Belgrave, where Dad had a promotion, including a police-supplied small house. They moved from Belgrave to Druin, where they again lived in the police station house. By that time, they had 3 daughters, Jeanette, Heather and Marie. I was born in Druin in August 1939. I think it was the last gasp as far as my father was concerned, as he had always wanted a son named Peter. Mum was quite busy with the 3 first girls, so I became very independent and developed a sense of humour at a young age. It has held me in good stead ever since. In 1942, we all moved to Yarrawonga on the Murray River. The police residence was located across the road from the higher elementary school and on the bank of the Murray River. My 3 sisters, of course, went to the school across the road, but I could not attend until I was 5, and used to sit on the school fence to get closer to all the action. As it was during the war years, there were trenches dug around the school grounds and daily drills to run and hide from the anticipated aerial attacks by enemy planes, which thankfully did not come. By the time the war was over, in 1945, I was 6 years old. We used to go swimming in the Murray River every afternoon in summer. We stayed in Yarrawonga for 10 years. So it was a wonderful experience for all 4 of us girls. The school only taught students until grade 8, Form 2. My sisters either travelled to the nearest high school in Wangaratta by bus, boarded in Wangaratta, or attended higher education facilities in Melbourne. By the time I was due to go from year 8 to 9, we moved to Murrumbina, a suburb of Melbourne. I was successful in being admitted to McRobertson's Girls' High School, a selective high school with a reputation for excellence and a serious focus on helping the community. It turned out to be a very worthwhile experience. Since then, when I was about 14 years old, I have tended to think of how I can help others. My aim has always been to try to be useful. When I migrated to Canada at 21 with my schoolfriend Joan, we travelled on the SS Oriana. We found secretarial jobs straight away and enjoyed a busy social life with plenty of trips to the amazing scenery around Vancouver. I soon moved to Toronto, found another job, which led to my being asked to go to New York City to set up an office for my Toronto company owners. I was living and working in New York City when President Kennedy was murdered in Dallas. A very sad day for the country and the world. I was in New York for 4 years after having spent 1 year in Washington, D.C., working for the Australian Government Defence Force Chiefs as a secretary. I returned to Melbourne and quickly returned to my previous job with the agents for Parfum Christian Dior in Australia. I continued that wonderful career until my mid-40s when I decided to go to Ryde School of Horticulture with the intent of establishing a wholesale plant nursery of my own. After 4 years, I realised that the nursery, which I loved, was never going to provide enough income for me and my family. My dearly loved husband suddenly developed a very serious neurological condition, and I knew I needed to have a new career. Fortunately, IBM headquarters were close to where we lived and had a program to train word processing secretaries. It was a lifesaver for me. I loved working for IBM and ended up having a 30-year career there. The last 20 years being the manager of corporate community relations across the Asia-Pacific region. After retiring from IBM at 79, I have focused on the community sector. I was awarded an AM in 2018 for my years of community volunteering and was offered a volunteer role with the New South Wales branch of the Order of Australia Association. After 5 years, I recently stepped down and am now doing as much as I can to advocate for other ageing Australians, including being on a few panels focused on delivering high-quality aged care across the country. I am indeed very blessed. The end.